All right, we'll talk about Day of the Jackal. That's right. I'm finally getting around to watching this. Eddie Redmayne, Lashana Lynch star in another adaptation of the Jackal character. Let's talk about the show right now. All right, if you're not familiar with this, it's based on a British novel called by Frederick Forsyth. It's been a TV series, it's been other movies, it's been tons of things, and we're getting the latest adaptation starring Eddie Redmayne and Lashana Lynch. And this has been premiering over on Peacock, so I've been able to take this in, and I will tell you that the premise of the Jackal, this highly trained and effective assassin who basically uses false identities and disguises to get close to targets, manipulate the police and everything like that to get clear getaways. His handling of covering up evidence is actually one of the things that makes him very believable as sort of like a tier one operator compared to many other film adaptations and TV shows and things like that.
It'll cost.
So there's your setup. Eddie Redmayne is fantastic as the Jackal, and it starts off super, super strong. The initial direction by Brian Kirk is phenomenal. I think the show is its strongest when he was actually the one behind the camera. I don't know that the Bennett, who is the main writer and promoter of this, really kind of had a great ending and premise beyond the scope of what we actually wanted to see, because this is what we want to see. We want to see the Jackal being the Jackal and doing a lot of this kind of stuff. And he is fantastic. Eddie Redmayne was actually phenomenal as the character. And that brings me to Lashana Lynch. Now, she is the MI6 expert on firearms and gunsmithing, and somehow she takes lead in this investigation, which is kind of odd because she's never really pitted with someone else who has a skill set to complement hers. Like, she's not got great detective skills or anything like that. And compared to Zoe Saldana in the Lioness Show, which I've been very critical of, she is just totally not believable in this role. She is horrible in this role. It's completely miscast. She's out over her skis, and nothing really works for me. So what the show does is it just focuses so much on family life. It has a family situation for the Jackal, and he's got a wife and a son. And of course, Lashana Lynch has got a family as well, and that she's neglecting because she's trying to investigate and catch this guy. This is by far the worst and longest drawn out elements of the show, and I wish that this was really not there.
Somebody's hiring the Jackal for another kill. What do you do?
If I told you the truth, then I'll lose you.
The worst elements with the wife is she's got this brother, is kind of like this slimy loser, and it's sort of like always based on contrivances. She doesn't really know what's going on. They find the vault where he hides his disguises and money and passports, and you literally have 3 or 4 episodes where all of this is trying to intertwine in there and wasting our time with the, well, what is he really doing? Is he cheating on me? I'm going to go get a divorce. And then of course, he knows all this is happening. Someone that's this smart and clever on this scale had cameras, had things wired. He knew everything. The other big fault with the show, in my opinion, is the Jackal's not the Jackal enough. He is Eddie Redmayne, and I think he's fantastic as this assassin. I'm really convinced he could actually be in a lot of other action films and action roles. I would never have thought of him that way, but this role convinced me of that. The problem is the Jackal should be using disguises and all this, and it's kind of intermittent, not done very often, and just not enough of that. I want more of that in my spy thriller about the Jackal. The teaser doesn't give anything away. The other thing the Jackal does, which I thought was just, I don't know, gross, to get close to his final kill, he ends up in like a gay relationship with someone. So literally, we have to go there as well. Not a surprise in modern television, but also distracting. Like, it was just like off-putting. Like, we're not getting enough action and Jackal and thriller and spy stuff anyway. And then we end up with like another weird cheating on his wife with a dude to get close. And it also lends itself to the fact that he makes a lot of stupid mistakes because of this emotional stuff he's got himself caught up in. Like, he drops his phone and that leads to this problem. And then of course the wife finds out and that leads to this problem, and just all sorts of things that seem out of character for someone who should be focused like he is. Oh, I sound mistaken. It wasn't that hard to find a little clippet of the quote gay relationship that we had to have here. And like I said, it's not that I'm opposed to the concept of it. It just seems like it was there on purpose just to do this. This is all they were doing this on purpose. That's why they put it in there. So all in all, I actually liked the show. I just wanted less of Eddie Redmayne being Eddie Redmayne as the assassin and more of him being the Jackal. And there's a couple of great kills. There's a couple of great moments. There's some good chases. There's some good things in here. The show is just bogged down by trying to be something that it really shouldn't be. So all in all, I'm pretty mid on this show. I'm going to give it like 2.5 out of 5 stars for me. If you can kind of look past my criticisms and you realize that in the episodes that's here, you probably have a really really strong movie story in there. It's just bogged down with all the family nonsense and just the tediousness of it all. It's like if they had just kind of cut to the chase. There's a lot of like politicking and stuff that kind of goes on, but like who they're going after, and then the one guy's trying to be very idealistic about releasing this software that basically is going to create transparency, and it's a lot of communism socialism type, and the youth is all he's always so great kind of stuff. But oh no, I don't really care about any of that. It didn't really matter, and it didn't bog the story down for me as much, and I didn't really root for or against the guy to survive the Jackal's attack. I was actually just waiting for something cool to happen, and I got some payoffs. I did get that, so hence the reason I'm going to give it a 2.5. My problem is my rewatchability on this is pretty nigh. I can't imagine sitting through it again. Even if there was a season two, I would really be hard convinced to watch it again. The setup for a season two is so weak and silly. I'm just not interested. Like it doesn't tease me enough. There's not another big bad to get. There's not some other reason for him to continue to pursue and do his thing. It's just silly. So that's my general take on it. Love to hear from you guys what you guys think. I am Pops.
For tuning in. We hope